Alright then guys, welcome back to the channel. So, we are a few days to Usyk versus Tyson Fury 2 in Saudi Arabia. And I've been thinking, right? Who is a loss going to affect the most? Whose legacy is a loss in this fight going to affect the most? Is it Tyson Fury? Is it Usyk? So Tyson Fury, as we know, in 2015 beat Vladimir Klitschko, which, by the way, is one of the best wins in this generation because it freed up the belts. Klitschko, Vitaly, they held the belts hostage for a long time. And for that time, boxing was not interesting to most people. You know, people didn't really care. Most of the fights were in Germany. And the interest of boxing was not there. And then Tyson Fury came along, beat Klitschko, took the belt, and opened up the division. So that is a fantastic achievement. That's something that started Tyson Fury's legacy. And then, of course, we know what happened. He went on to, drugs, abusing his body, alcohol, went AWOL and did all he did. And then came back. He came back, he fought Pianeta, Tyson Fury, Tom Schwartz, these sort of guys that are not elite level, they're not great fighters. But you cannot hold that onto Fury because he's getting his fitness, he's getting into the groove of things, he's getting back to boxing. So there's nothing that you can, you can hold him up to because he's coming back. And then he goes on to, fight Deontay Wilder, which is a fight that most people thought was too early because he's back. He's just only fought about D, E, F level fighters. And he's going in with a very good fighter in Deontay Wilder, who, by the way, is only an elite puncher, but not a great fighter or an elite fighter. Deontay Wilder is not an elite fighter. He's not an elite, skilled fighter or a great skilled fighter. He's just a puncher. The highest level, elite level puncher. That's different to being a fighter. So he, was dangerous. But he's only a very good fighter, not a great one. So then if you look at Tyson Fury's, career from there, he's fought Vlad, who's a great fighter. He's had some gimme fights. And then he's fought Deontay Wilder, who's a very good fighter, but not a great fighter, just an elite puncher. From there on, Tyson Fury and his crew and his people went on to say he was the greatest fighter of this generation. And I thought that time that was the most ridiculous thing that we want to hear. We don't want to hear that. You had the likes of Simon Jordan on TalkSport saying that Tyson Fury is head and shoulders above the rest when he's only beaten Deontay Wilder, who is not a great fighter, but just a very good fighter. So then you ask yourself, what is Simon Jordan talking about? How is Tyson Fury head and shoulders above the rest when he hasn't fought the best? He hasn't fought Anthony Joshua. He didn't fight Daniel Dubois. He didn't fight Zhile Zhang. He didn't fight Joseph Parker when he was a champion. He didn't fight Joe Joyce. All these fighters that were very good, that were great, he never fought them. So how can he claim to be the best of his generation? Or how can Simon Jordan say, Tyson Fury is head and shoulders above the rest? So if he goes on to lose this fight against Usyk, what is Tyson Fury's legacy made of? Beat Vlad, beat a very good Deontay Wilder, but that's it. We have examples of who are great or the greatest of their generation. Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, Jack Johnson, you've got Rocky Marciano, you've got the likes of George Foreman. These fighters who have laid out the template for the greatest fighters of their generation, they fought everyone in their generation. Even if they lost, they went back to avenge that loss. So if Tyson Fury cannot win this fight against Usyk, what actually is his legacy? Is it just the Vlad fight and Deontay Wilder fight? Is that it? Because those are the only good fighters he's fought, or only one great fighter in Vlad, and a very good fighter in in Deontay Wilder. Dillian White was a good fighter, but he didn't pose any threat. If you look at Usyk, he dominated cruiserweight. You can only become elite in your weight class when you fight the best. Usyk became elite and became the greatest cruiserweight that we've seen because he dominated and became undisputed. And then he came to heavyweight, and then he beat all the top guys in heavyweight, including Tyson Fury, who once claimed that he was the best of this generation without fighting anyone, without any proof, without proving that. So when he faced Usyk, who is the greatest cruiserweight, and an elite heavyweight, Tyson Fury lost. So if you look at Usyk, he's proven in cruiserweight, and he's proven to be undisputed in heavyweight. So what does this fight mean for both of them if they lose? With Usyk, he cemented his legacy, in my opinion, to be the best of this generation, the best cruiserweight that we've seen, and the best heavyweight of this generation. Regardless of this fight, that first Fury fight cemented everything for him. With Tyson Fury, there's a lot of questions to be asked if he loses the second fight against Usyk, because people are gonna look at his resume. People are gonna analyze the fights that he fought, the fights that he didn't fight, the fighters that were in his division during the time that he was meant to fight them but didn't fight. There's a lot of questions that surrounding Tyson Fury's legacy and his career if he doesn't win this fight. If he wins this fight by beating Usyk, he then puts himself into that conversation of being one of the greats of this generation. Absolutely. If he doesn't win this fight, I don't know if you can put him in there as one of the greats of this generation, looking at his fight record, comparing that to some of the greats that we've seen in the sport over the years. Because we have a template of the likes of Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, Rocky Marciano, these guys setting out the template for us to look at and go, this is what we want to see. You can't say you're the best on paper. We need to see you in the ring defending your titles, fighting different fighters with different styles. That is when you can mark yourself as the best. And so far, if Fury loses this fight, there's a lot of questions about his legacy. If Usyk loses this fight, he's cemented his legacy already. So look, you guys let me know what you think about it. What does this fight mean for Tyson Fury if he loses? And what does this fight mean for Usyk if he loses? Leave your comments in the section below. Of course, like this video, subscribe to my channel. There's a lot of these conversations that we're going to have. We're going to go live and we're going to have discussions. So subscribe and stay tuned. And I'll see you guys on the next one.